the NFL Spread Pod. It's Holden, it's Rubio, and it's Title. And on this glorious, glorious Thursday, which is when this is dropping, guys, do you have much to say? I mean, I feel like there's a lot going on in the world between Odell Beckham and Aaron Rodgers and all this other stuff. We're taping this before Beckham makes his decision, though, but Title, he's not going to Green Bay. I know it hurts your feelings. He's just not going there.
When did he say that?
Well, they said that the report was they're not going to have enough money.
Well, they offered him the veteran minimum. But the thing is, before I went on the Hardwood show, so it must have been like 4 Eastern or something, Davante Adams was at the podium in practice, and he said he's confident. It sounded like he said he's in talks, which, yeah, I mean, how much can you take from that? But final 3 teams, like I think the Packers want him. I think it's up to Odell. So to be honest, I want Odell. Obviously, I know everything about it, blah, blah, blah. I think the risk reward, I mean, he's coming into Aaron Rodgers, to Davante Adams. So I think the locker room would at least be fine. I'll take Odell's talent still at this point. I don't think he's washed. I don't think he's the old Odell, but I want him as a Packer for sure.
RubioDimes. I am so done with Odell Beckham Jr. You'll call me a hater because I don't do this very often. I do not want to see the man succeed. I'm just so over Odell Beckham, a waste of talent. You know, hopefully he'll clean it up. If he goes to the Patriots, he's not going to be able to pull his shit anymore. Like, he's going to have to actually run routes. He's going to have to show up, and he's going to have to shut the fuck up.
He's going to have to block. You don't want that. You want to see Odell if you want him to not succeed, yes, you want him to go to the Saints or you want him to go to the Pats. You want to see the Chiefs or Rodgers, like Rodgers, Devon, like he's
but I kind of feel like he's perfect for Kansas City because, and again, I thought it was really telling. The Browns were leaking that the guy doesn't run routes; he just freestyles. Well, who's the number 1 freestyle quarterback out there? Patrick Mahomes, man. And
when Rodgers gets outside the pocket.
Oh, not like Mahomes. No. I mean, that's Mahomes. Just here, go route, and if things break down, I'll hit you. It would be a great move if he could stay on the field. Let's also not forget he's hurt all the time.
It's worth the risk, especially for the Packers and Chiefs. Yeah. The risk and reward, I think, is by far worth it. But we'll see what he makes. It has to be. I think tonight, don't you think? Tonight's the night we'll hear.
Hopefully during the show when we're taping it. Rubio, any thoughts on OBJ or Aaron Rodgers?
The OBJ thing is as insignificant as it becomes. Like, it's just someone who hasn't been good for a few years, has been completely dusty. You can say it's the quarterback play and stuff, but I really don't think it matters where he goes. I don't think the Browns are a contender, whether he likes it or not. And he'll go to a team that's probably worse, if not probably on the same level. I just don't think
Packers are not worse. Stop it. Packers are not worse.
Well, let's get to the Rodgers thing. That's also something that doesn't matter and will blow over here in a couple of weeks. Like, I just don't think these two things matter at all. Like, I think in 2 weeks we'll all forget it. Odell will probably be middling at 4 for 50 with 0 touchdowns each week, no matter where he goes. So I'm not concerned at all. I just, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Rodgers coming back. Your Title, nobody cares about Rodgers once Rodgers gets back on the field. Joe Buck will say one thing about it, and then all we're going to do is root for him to help the Packers win. I think it's as simple as that.
I don't care about Rodgers' thing when it was going down. Exactly. I don't know. There's a lot of weird people in this world. I'm not getting into any of that stuff. But yes, for Aaron Rodgers, he's going to get back on the football field. He still has the trust with his teammates. When he's on the field, he's a pro. Hey, and that what we saw last week. Yes, I hated the Jordan Love pick forever. I always say it's the worst pick ever, regardless how he turns out. But man, that really showed why you need Aaron Rodgers if you really want to be a contender. And I'm not excited for the next 10 years. Yeah, I'm not excited. I'll tell you that.
They are screwed. Maybe go get Odell and then just completely suck his dick and fire, what's his name, Gutenhurst, and get him.
He should have been gone. But I just want this one last dance, as Rodgers calls it. I want Odell to be a part of it. I'm not a big Odell guy. It's just like, the risk reward, like I'm saying. The worst thing that happens, you cut him in a couple weeks.
Rubio, I was asked who the most likely individual at RPS to be a flat earther was. And I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I'm going to ask you this question right now. Who do you think at RPS is a flat earther?
Oh man, we got a few people, huh?
Really?
Yeah. I think for sure, Mangone. I think he's definitely a flat earther. Like I just think Mangone can get sold on anything. I just feel like all of a sudden he'll be talking. You'll be like,
Man.
he'll just bring it out of the blue too. Like you'll be talking about like cupcakes, and he'll be like, "Hey, did you know like the Earth is flat?" I just feel like that's something he would do.
Okay.
There's absolutely no reason at all, but he just has that vibe to him. Why not say on my other Showdown guy on Sunday, Bobby Gomes? I think he could be a flat earther as well. I mean, I just think those are the main two. I've listened to them.
Bobby Gomes. No, you know what? This will get back to Bobby too. I'm actually going to put him in the middle, like could be. Like I don't think he does, but I'm not going to put him on the side where he's definitely not. Like even Title would probably think that the Earth is round. Do you believe the Earth is round, Title?
I have a discussion over here. Yes, of course.
Okay.
And I honestly can't, and I literally cannot think of anybody. I mean, like I don't know like a lot of the people in depth at RPS, but like I feel like that's a unnormal thing to think that. So like what, 5%? Or is that just a tweet?
I don't think 5%.
Well, here's what I think here, real quick.
What do you think?
If you tell Mangone that Bobby believes the Earth is round, Mangone will say flat Earth. If you if you tell Bobby Gomes that Mangone thinks the Earth is round, Bobby will say it's flat. I just think like they just they got into it on Sunday. I didn't know if you guys want to watch, but
what happened?
It was boiling. Bobby was going on about Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs being terrible.
Yeah. He was right.
Mangone was also very heated about the Marquise Brown. Or no, Bobby was so heated about the Marquise Brown ownership. And Mangone was defending it with all of his life, and it was good. It was good TV.
When is this show?
What do you mean? It's Showdown show on Sunday night.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, I'll watch it now. Now that I know there's conflict and a flat earther. I mean, how do you miss a show with conflict and a flat earther?
Big T joins on late and then shits on everyone.
I feel like Uncle T's a flat earther.
Nah, Uncle T, he's the most round.
Zero chance. But hold on, I got a question for you. When I said 5 and you said no way, was it 1? Is it?
Yeah, there 15? Can't be more than 1%.
Okay.
Then again, there's a lot of idiots all over the world.
I'll say from what I see on social media,
I think 1%.
Okay, so why do you think anybody? So that means it's unlikely anybody at RPS is that. And that's
do we have 100 people here?
No.
All right, maybe 3%. 3%.
So now you're forcing at least.
Yeah, now we're up to 1.5 people at our place. Right. So more than one is a flatter. I will say this. So there's a good buddy of mine who played in baseball. He thinks the Earth is flat and dinosaurs lived among people. And this is something he truly believes. And
the second one's more feasible than the first.
I won't give up his name. And he wanted to talk about it on the air. And I said, please, sir, do not do this to yourself.
What's his name rhyme with?
Nope, not going to do it. But there was a guy around the time you guys were born by the name of Carl Everett. And Carl Everett, actually, I was at a Red Sox game. He was playing for the Sox, I think, or he was there against them. Who the hell knows right now? Yeah, he's with the Sox. And the dude on Carl Everett Appreciation Day got kicked out of the game for throwing his helmet at an umpire. So that was really cool. And then the other thing was he was staunchly against the existence of dinosaurs. So there's no way in the world that dinosaurs could exist. They're made up. The Earth was made just a couple thousand years ago. Okay, man. I don't think you're going to be able to change anyone's mind that doesn't believe in dinosaurs, Title. I just don't think you're going to change his mind.
I've learned not to try and change anybody's mind pretty much about anything in this world.
About anything? What if I say, no, I'm totally on Giannis tonight? And then you go, no, you got to get off of Giannis.
Yesterday, I said there's 3 locks on this. Like people were trying to argue in Discord. I said, you play Giannis, you play Bobby Portis, you play Drummond. Your lineups come preloaded. And people were trying to argue, disagree, and then I just leave the chat. It's not – if you disagree, perfect. That's why there's still an edge in DFS. That's – if you don't want to believe in dinosaurs, if you want to believe the Earth's flat, if you want to believe whatever, good for you. That's what makes everyone – that's what makes this world go round. Everybody's their own person.
Somebody here thinks the Earth is flat. I don't know which one it is, but I know there's –
You might as well put in the coordinator chat who thinks the Earth's flat at this point.
Okay, I'm going to do that. And then the other guy would definitely be G Rison.
Yeah,
We are
I can see
going
that.
to.
After a few hours in a safety meeting, G Rising could pop up that
I
little
do want to
flattery.
ask the last, like, to close this topic, like, what made you think of that again? Like, how
I
did
don't
this
even
come up?
remember.
You were
Oh,
just
Aaron
thinking.
Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, with his whole
Oh,
thing, he was believing.
okay.
And I'm like, okay, he doesn't believe the earth is flat, but I know a lot of people with unpopular opinions, and the earth is flat and the dinosaur
Kyrie.
thing.
Kyrie.
Hey, Kyrie. Kyrie's on a different planet, man. Kyrie. I don't know about that dude. He might not play this year, right?
No, I mean, he's really trying to make, like you said, he's in his own. But thing is, man, when that guy's on the basketball court, he's a treat to watch. That's for sure.
Gary. So here I put it in there, and Gary goes holding on his gummies. You told me to put it. You set me up, Title. You knew. you set me up without even knowing it.
Well, you were literally the one curious and asking the question about.
Yeah, there's going to be like 84 gummy messages now, just in a row. Rubio, you might as well chime in on that one and just throw one in there while we're at it. This will be the topic of conversation going forward. But, gentleman, want to talk some football, or is there anything else? Rubio, how was your colon after last week's debacle? How is that going?
Oh my, Holden, I just like to say I'm deeply sorry for ever doubting your manliness, and it's something that I will never go through again. However, I just want to put a message out there to anyone who calls me soft. I did that for free. I voluntarily went up and said, I'll eat the chip, no matter how dumb of a statement or how dumb of an action I made. I dare you to do it. I dare you. If you think I'm soft and you do it and you act better than me, you know what? All credit to you. You have my complete respect. But if you're calling me soft and you're not going to do it and you're asking for money, I don't know, a certain Big T, I'm just saying.
Oh, Big
T?
You're
softer than me.
Yeah, Big T was chirping him on the phone. It was so funny.
I don't think anyone's dumb enough to do that.
I will say, Rubio, I'm not going to do it, but you were soft when you did do it. I will say. But I will say I would be soft if I did it.
That's fair enough. When you say you were soft when you were eating the chip, that's fair. Yeah. But if you're going to call someone soft because of their actions,
that's just
after
dumb.
The chip.
That was just dumb.
No, I ain't no bitch. I ate that chip for free, for no money, for no ambition.
No, that makes it worse, Rubio, that you would actually do that. I think Uncle T called you immature was the word. And I'm with him.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, Title acts a little bit older than his age. You act like you're a freshman in college.
Well, I just want to say, I don't know. I started the trend. Barstool Sports did the one chip challenge today. And I'm just saying.
How'd that work for them?
I started it.
How'd that work for them?
I think some of the tweets were funny. I really don't follow that much. A friend just sent it to me.
So, RubioDimes, it's time to go to the football portion of the show. I'd like to bring it back before I complain about wanting the last episode to be deleted from YouTube because of my embarrassment in taking part in it. But I won't do that. I won't do that, Rubio. And we'll go to the football, okay? Let's talk about some quarterbacks this week. Kyler says he's going to go. We'll see what the Cardinals do. They're against Carolina this week. That'll be interesting. The guy I want you to talk about to me is Josh Allen. Josh Allen has not looked good in the last 2 weeks. Now, he did put up almost 30 points 2 weeks ago, but this past week, when he threw 2 picks and didn't score a touchdown. So rough week for him against Jacksonville. What are you thinking about Josh Allen headed into the Jets game?
We just saw the Colts put 45 or something like that on the Jets. Buffalo played absolutely horrible against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is something that a lot of people know. A lot of people saw the last week, and it was probably one of the biggest upsets of the season. This week, it will not replicate itself. I think the Bills just come out, put up like 45, something similar to what the Colts did, and they just kind of say, hey, remember us? We can do this too. And I'm a big fan of Allen. I'm a big fan of Diggs. I'm just a big fan of this offense in general, and I'm going to go right back to Zach Moss probably. So I just think I'm a big fan of the Bills. Josh Allen's, seeing how the builds fall down, I really haven't built yet. So maybe value will be important. Maybe value won't be. But if I can fit him, I'll do it.
Okay. If you can fit him, you'll do it. Title, Josh Allen this week. Any reason to go? You're more you could do the cash side of things. Who's the cash quarterback?
I'm still 150 Yahoo every week with the overlay, and I got a main team on both sides. So, but
Good.
I've been doing a lot of tournaments actually this year. NFL and MMA are the two sports like you get them once a week, and NFL not even the full year. So
Is that why you switched up? Like when we did this show last year, you almost never did tournaments, right?
Yeah. Well, it's because my bankroll fine. Like I now got a comfortable now I feel fine. I get all the cash action I want now. I'm fine if you punt 10% of your portfolio or something. Whereas before, I just really wanted to be safe. But yeah, so Josh Allen on FanDuel is a better play because how the pricing all works. On DraftKings, I want Josh Allen. Like that is who I want. Like I'm not worried about what happened last week. I've played Lamar or Josh Allen pretty much every week. I think this is a great bounce back spot. It gets the Jets. Josh Allen, even when they're up 20, he still has the rushing upside. They still throw the ball. So 7,900, I want him. Like Dak at 6,900, it's the other one I'm considering. Hurts at 65 is just like, I hate the matchup against Denver. I feel way more safe going to 400 to Dak, and I really want Josh Allen. But I do think punting is viable. I mean, we're going to get to running back and wide receiver, at least when I talked about it yesterday on the show. The value at wide receiver and running back are not good, and the mid-tier to upper tier is really good. If Nick Chubb's out and we get the Dearness Johnson value or we get some other value throughout the week, I think that'll really help and then make me pay up at quarterback. But otherwise, I am considering Taylor Heineke down there at 5-4. I mean, if Rodgers is back, I can't play Love, obviously. If Rodgers is out, I'm considering Love too. Like, I think there's merit if Nick Chubb is in and we don't get value to pay up at running back and wide receiver and pay down at quarterback because the Heineke and Josh Allen, that's $2,500. Heineke has some rushing upside. He gets a pass funnel team in Tampa. So if value doesn't open up, I am considering punting quarterback this week.
Rubio, what are you thinking here on the tournament side of things?
Well, I mean, I like that. I like the Heineke call because the Bucs are going to be, always a pass funnel team. The Washington football team will probably fall right into that and just kind of dink and dunk. Heineke's running ability is always good. Under 6K, we have Carson Wentz at 5.9. This Colts offense is clicking. The Jacksonville Jaguars have allowed 31+ in 4 of the 8 games they've played, I believe. And they've honestly a little pattern, not that it matters at all. Patterns don't matter at all, but they've allowed 30, then under 30, then 30, then under 30. And we're on the trend that they're going to allow 30 this week. But this Colts offense is just looking really good. That game against the Jets kind of showed a lot. Jonathan Taylor is the true RB1. Title can win his bet against me from last year. I don't even know if we had one, but I win the Tua bet, but he'll win the Jonathan Taylor bet. And I just think this Jacksonville team gives up 30. Carson Wentz is definitely in play under 6K. I think you got to consider Kirk Cousins. I don't, this whole Dalvin Cook thing could be messy, but if he's out, that could be a little more pass funnel. So, that's pure speculation on my part, but 6.1 for Kirk Cousins and his upside is definitely something that is viable. And we get Jalen Hurts at 6.5 in his running ability. So I don't know, still early in the week, but Josh Allen's the clear guy I want to get to, but I'll probably stick to Wentz or Heineke under 6K.
Carson Wentz's wife is due to give birth on Sunday. He said, I don't care because I'm going to play in the game if you go into labor. He probably didn't put it that bluntly, but he's playing. He doesn't care.
It's QB1 right there.
If his wife is crowning. It doesn't matter. He's just going. Do you even know what that is, Rubio? Crowning?
Yes, I do. It means the head's popping out.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Or leg, whatever.
Is this his first kid?
I feel like Carson Wentz is like Phillip Rivers. Like he's going to have 12 kids.
I feel like I've never heard. I mean, obviously, I don't know why. I'm going to look that up because if that's his first kid, I mean.
No way it's his first kid and he's going to miss that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it is,
he's like 28, man. That dude.
If you have a brother or sister and like, hey, dad didn't even come to your birth, like that's going to be such a diss for that like family.
Yeah, second
kid. Yeah, the first one you want to be there for. I will give you guys this, and it's advice I got when I was young, and I did not take it into account when the first baby came. So I want you to listen to this and never forget it. Don't look down. It is a sight that cannot be unseen. Do not look down. All the dads out there, they know what I'm talking about. Rubio, it looks like Title got it. Don't look down.
I've been told this several times. I'm with you guys.
They just don't realize it. You're like, oh, there's like an alien it's not even your kid. It's just, it took a while to look at her the same way. I'll just say that.
Thank you for that, I'm not going to take too much advice from you in life, but this is one thing that I'm
listen, title, unprotected sex with many women is wonderful. You could have kids anywhere at any point in time. So again, especially where you are in Austin, just knock them up, buddy. Knock them up and knock them out. So Carson Wentz, I give you that one. Do not take that advice, literally.
No.
Is Dak Prescott going to be chalky this week against Atlanta? Because I think he is going to bounce back in a huge way against the Falcons. Plus, he gets Gallup back. What do you guys think about the ownership on Prescott? Any thoughts on Prescott? Tournament.
His ownership's he's definitely gonna get some. Like I said, like if the value's there, Josh Allen's gonna get more of the ownership, and then that reduces Dak's ownership. If Chubb plays and we don't really have injury news pop up throughout the week, which I highly doubt, like we've gotten injury news and value the whole time. But if that's the case and money's more stingy, Dak's gonna then get a lot more ownership because that 1,000 from Josh Allen goes a long way.
Okay, let's move on to the next position, which would be running back. I'm going to ask you title, Christian McCaffrey. It's week number 2, should get the full workload. I think he had 19 touches last week going up against Arizona. You're going to have Walker in there. Can you justify going to McCaffrey at 8-4 on DraftKings or $9K on FanDuel or $31 on Yahoo?
31 on Yahoo, I think is definitely going to make some of my script. As far as on DraftKings, like running back is so loaded this week. Like I'm to be honest, like give me Jonathan Taylor over Christian McCaffrey right now, and I'm still worried that he is going to get a full workload. I thought he got like 1/3 of snaps. Chuba Hubbard looked pretty decent. Like, are they really going to rush him back? I don't know. If you're guaranteed he's going to get 30 touches like the old McCaffrey does. For sure I am, but I'm a little more hesitant on that. Jonathan Taylor's an absolute stud right now. 8,100 against Jacksonville. I really like that price. Najee Harris, 7,900 against Detroit. Austin Eckler, 7,600. Like, I think all those guys are over McCaffrey for me. If Dalvin Cook does play, Spread always talks about it on Mondays, how bad the Chargers running defense is. Dalvin Cook, if he plays, is going to be overlooked. I like the Herbert, Herbert, Keenan Allen, run it back with Dalvin. And Justin Jefferson's going to get some ownership. Perfect leverage off of him, too. I just think Dalvin Cook could be a very, very good play at low ownership. Then you get to the cheaper range a little. Not cheaper, but mid-tier that I like. Zeke at 7K against Atlanta. I think that's a great bounce-back spot. And the last guy before I go to Rubio, Cordero Patterson is a complete stud and produces every time he's on the field. His snaps still aren't where they should be. He's still playing like less than 70% or like 60, 65, something dumb, but he just produces every time he's there. Gets some handoffs. He catches passes. He's explosive. Cordell Patterson at 6,600 in that Dallas game. He's for sure my favorite Atlanta run back.
Rubio, you handsome bastard. What are you doing at running back?
Oh, man, these studs are just absurd this week. Like Title said, it's an incredibly strong position. McCaffrey ended up getting 29 snaps last week, which was 49% of the work. If that does trend up at all, like where they're saying, oh, McCaffrey's going to get the full load, I find it very hard-pressed to fade him at 8.4. Darnold is hurt. He's questionable, right? So we have P.J. Walker who could step in.
No, Darnold's done 4 to 6 weeks, man.
4 to 6. There it is. So Walker's going to be the quarterback. I don't know if I think that hinders McCaffrey just a little bit more. I don't know if he is going to be someone who checks it down as much as Darnold did at the beginning of the season. I still think they make it a point of emphasis to get McCaffrey the ball. So if we do see a trend up at all, I think people are going to be scared by the injury still. And I just think McCaffrey, whenever he's full go, especially at 8.4, you play him. But that being said, we have Jonathan Taylor, who truly has taken the reins of like the Colts offense. They finally said, Marlon Mack, you're no good to us. And they finally gave the ball to Jonathan Taylor at a full clip the last, basically 3 weeks or so. He's been getting over 20 touches a game. So I just think against Jacksonville, I'm already a big fan of the Colts offense as it is. There's another guy to spend up on. We get Najee Harris against the Detroit Lions. They just never seem to want to take him off the field at 7-9. I just think I'm going to be double spending up at running back. And, like Title said, Nick Chubb is a doubt for the game. So basically, if he doesn't play on Sunday, Dearness Johnson at 4,700 against the Patriots will probably be a little bit chalky. He's someone who I think could be a better fade in tournaments just because I think the Browns are no matter what, like running back by committee. His first impression was on primetime football. And as much as it is, like I think he's a good talent, that 4,700 actually might be something to fade and kind of stay more toward the upper tier at the running back spot. James Conner is going to be chalk, it sounds like, I think. 6,300. I can't do it. I just can't click on that name at all. He's leading the league in touchdowns, but oh man, I'll be damned if I'm playing James Conner this week.
Oof. Glad you brought him up. One other guy. Oh, Uncle Lenny Fournette. Not sexy, but he's getting volume in the passing game. They might not be with God. They might have no Godwin. They don't have AB. So when we get to wide receiver, we'll talk about that. But I could see some more work for old Uncle Lenny this week at 6-1 on DK. So, and that would be a pivot, right? Because these options are so amazing. Like,
well, there's also the thing too, like Zach Moss is questionable in the concussion protocol. If he plays, I really like him at just above 5K. If he doesn't play, Devin Singletary got a ton of work. He had 7 catches last game. I think I'm probably playing Singletary if Moss is out. That's for sure.
Early in the week, Kamara's already missed 1 practice, and his knee is not feeling good. So keep an eye on that too. It might be cranky, and then you take him out. And now you really got a
season. Oh gosh, Mark Ingram season. Oh gosh,
is it Mark Ingram season?
He's been getting 1/3 of the touches the past 2 games.
He's going to get 2/3 of the touches now.
That's what I mean. I don't want to play more, but like that's what we're saying. Like, so I assume value is going to open up. I mean, we've talked like right now as it stands, if no one misses and Chubb, like this is why I think playing Heineke makes sense because I'm not playing like a Zach Moss in a timeshare. Like there's the upper tier and mid tier are so loaded. I think the lowest I would go is Fournette at 6-1, like as it stands right now. Like Michael Carter at 5-6, that's okay, but like, man, I think you're giving up so much upside. But I assume either a Moss or Chubb's going to be like, I think Chubb's going to be out. He was positive, but who knows? Who knows how it works? But I think some value does pop up. But that's the debate at quarterback and where the ownership it's going to depend. Because wide receiver we're going to get to. I think wide receiver is a mid-tier to pay up too. Like it's hard to find cheapies.
Mike Evans is 6'9" on DraftKings. He is 7'4" on FanDuel. And if there's no Godwin and there's no Antonio Brown, they're taking on Washington at Washington. How is Mike Evans not going to be the chalk?
Tyler Johnson too. That we're talking about cheapies. He's 3-3. Like that's probably where it'd go actually. And you save salary there, but yeah, Tyler Johnson, Mike Evans. I mean, as bad as a lot of teams have been this year, sporadic week in and week out, they put up duds or not. Like trusting Tom Brady in this passing game, they love to throw the ball. Like you feel safe. You feel as safe as any team in any position at wide receiver with Tampa Bay because they're going to throw the football regardless. And Tom Brady, they've just moved the football at will this year. So I think Johnson would be good chalk. Mike Evans, absolutely.
What do you think of your boy Valdez-Scantling coming back this week? If Rodgers is back.
It's Devontae for me. That's how I just treat the Packers.
He's just dead. He's dead to you.
It's a big slate. Like
Rubio, what are you thinking here, buddy? Go back to my boy Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Oh man, I don't think
get it again. Find someone that loves you as much as I love Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I watched that Bengals game. I was a little bit just absolutely irked by that entire game and stuff. But Peoples-Jones, I just big play guys. I mean, they make a lot of sense. I should like him more in tournaments than I actually do. The big playability was there. I mean, he's separated from the Bengals secondary like it was Swiss cheese almost. But 4,800 is a lot. Like even with a score, like he had a 60-yard score, he only had 16.6 DK. Like that's very fadeable. Definitely not someone that I'm like looking at like, oh man, I really need this guy. There's only one guy that I'm looking at like that I really need. That title hit the hammer on the nail there basically. That's Tyler Johnson. If Godwin misses, like he's 3.3 and I would play him probably at 6K almost, I think. It might be a slight hyperbole, but like I just think he's that good. He's a good talent. Brady's going to find him the ball, and it opens up the slate entirely. He gives us Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers back and his 30-point upside at the bare, like almost 30-point upside every week at under 8K too. Like I really really like that. We can kind of continue just moving along.
Hey, let me
Wide
throw a
receivers
guy
are one
out.
of those things where
Gallup.
I'm looking.
Michael Gallup, 4K DK.
What do you think his snaps are?
Well, CeeDee Lamb's his ankle's kind of messed up. You saw it last week.
Mari's banged up too, but
Mari's banged up. Cedric Wilson is there, but good. I mean, Gallup is 4K. I mean, to me, it's just early week. Looking at the slate, to me, it's like it kind of stands out. It is obviously not a cash play. It is a tournament play. But if you're rolling with Dak, I wonder if Gallup would be a guy to pair him with.
I'd probably go Amari.
I love pairing him with Schultz, by the way. What'd you say, title?
I'd go Amari personally.
Yeah?
I love that 6,200 price tag. Like, you just know his upside's 30 when he gets there. So that's just how I treat it in tournaments. But I that's the thing with Dallas. Like, you love stacking them, but it's so hard to stack because any of this. Cedric Wilson, if he had 2 touchdowns, like, I'm not surprised. Like, he's good. Like, there's so many mouths there. I'll tell you what I'm doing this week if Rodgers is back. My main team is Rodgers to Devontae, and you run it back with DK and Metcalf, and you're making money this week. I'll tell you, that is the stack and the game of the week if Rodgers is back. Maybe. Do I go Russ instead and run it back?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Russ being back. That is kind of wild.
Let's talk about it, Rubio.
Well, I didn't know. Like, we've been so busy this week, and like I just feel with a lot of
we didn't know. You didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know. We all knew.
I said I did. We didn't talk about it, and I didn't know. I didn't say we didn't know, did we?
All right, Rubio, talk to me.
All right, I'm talking to you. What do you want me to say?
Whatever you were just going to say before you went on your
DK Metcalf
diatribe.
with Russell Wilson back against this Green Bay defense? Like, Title brings up a good point. I was like, man, DK Metcalf with Geno Smith thrown to him. I was like, I better check the quarterbacks. And then Russ was a full participant in practice today. Like, that's as exciting as it gets. We finally get the Seattle stacks.
You know who else might be back?
Huh?
Chris Carson.
Oh God, no.
No, I know what I'm doing. Maybe I go Russ over the Rodgers so I can double stack and go Lockett Metcalf. They are both cheap enough. We don't see their prices together this cheap because they're always with Russ and all. I think because I like double stacking too. I think it is a Russ, Lockett, DK. You run it back with Devontae and you figure it out. I think I'm talking myself into my main. I like Rodgers, but I like the double stack. And the second guy, unless Odell shows up for the week, and no, I'm kidding. I'll go Metcalf and Lockett.
Russell Wilson. It's gonna be awesome when fucking Pete Carroll calls 35 runs in that game, and he has like 12 attempts.
Coming back to his college stay, little Wisco coming out.
I hope you're right, man.
Build that narrative.
Packers, Seahawks, they played in the NFC champion. They've had history. Yeah. Devontae on his Instagram said Seattle week. Like, I mean, the game of the week, 325, late night hammer holding. Come on. We're all thinking about it. Make a GPP lineup with it. When it ships, we're shipping together.
All right, so I'm making a Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf.
Lockett, Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, too.
You have to do all three.
But there's no good correlation between Lockett and Metcalf, dude.
Yeah.
You just said it.
If Russell Wilson – the prices are now lower. If Russell Wilson gets you to win a GPP at 2%, he's throwing 3 to 4 touchdowns. Lockett and Metcalf are the only ones catching those touchdowns.
They don't have big games together is what I'm saying. I think you
the
got to pick one of them.
It's a tournament game.
Yeah, that's how you run tournament. Like, that's why
you're gonna play 2 guys, knowing that only one's gonna go off.
No, I'm not knowing that.
He's painting a picture for you. Can you read?
I know they don't go off together though. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, they've done it before. First of all, I can find it, but they're also their
prices. Go find last time that happened.
Okay, all right.
Maybe one time this year.
That's all I need is one time, and I'm shipping. That's all I need. I'll find it though when you go to Rubio.
Right, you find it. You find that for me.
I just want to say, week 1 they combined for 45.
Yes, give me 45.
And what did Tyler Lockett have? Like fucking 40?
29. So DK had 16.
I'll
only
take
on 4
that.
catches.
I'll take
okay, hold on a second.
60. And then that means Russ is going off.
Huh?
Because if those two are getting 45, that means you're guaranteed Russ is going off, which is what I want in tournaments. And then I'm expecting.
So you'll take 16 at 6.8K?
Sure. If it gets me a 29 from Lockett and then Russ is getting me 30, sure.
Last game they combined for 52. Lockett had 30 and DK had 22.
All right, that's it. Discussion over. The negative correlation is gone. The title is correct. Again.
You're always wrong.
You, title, you son of a bitch. You sandbagging bastard.
When you ship Holden, you better have a lineup with it. And then you'll be thanking me.
Okay. Let's see here. Tight end. I don't know if Dawson Knox is back, if you consider him at 4.5. That's just all these guys are so cheap. The cheap tight ends have just been working out for us every single week. I think it's a little different this week. Personally, I'm looking at Brait or Howard in a tournament if you really want to save money. Title, what are your thoughts on that? If we go down to 2.7K on DraftKings, let me go get the prices on FanDuel. 4.5 and probably 4.5, right? Yeah, 4.5 and 4.6.
Well, so it's not a pay up. It's for sure a spend down. There's no Kelsey on the slate. There's no Waller on the slate. There's no Andrews on the slate. So it has to be a pay down. The guy that's just looking me in the eyes is Freiermuth. The guy is a complete stud. Big Ben loves him. Big Ben doesn't push the ball downfield. His price didn't get adjusted because there's Monday Night Football. He's 3,900. So I love that. Dan Arnold. Can we say wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville? Like, as weird as it sounds, like the target share and he's the guy. He's 35. He's 3,500. Jared Cook 3,200 in a game I like. Conklin 3,400. I don't mind going back there in tournaments. I'm going to be living in that range. If you want to go Pitts, you want to go Goddard, they'll be in my 150. But I'm going to try and save as much money as possible. I rank them Freiermuth, Jared Cook, Dan Arnold, Conklin right now, but I'm saving money.
Saving money there. It's as simple as that. Okay. What do you got going on here, tight end? RubioDimes.
I'll be the what do they call it? The guy who's on the opposite end.
The contrarian?
No, not the contrarian. It's a different word for it.
Devil's advocate or contrarian?
Devil's advocate. There it is. Yep. There we go. So I'll be the devil's advocate here and kind of promote the spend up. All right. How many receivers who are 5.5K or less have 31 targets in the last 3 weeks? I would say probably only a handful. If they're under 5,500, then 0. And TJ Hawkinson has 31 targets in the last 3 weeks. Kyle Pitts, as long as Ridley is gone, is going to be wide receiver 1 for this Atlanta team. And if you're looking for run backs, and let's say Dak is of interest of people, as much as, that Dalton Schultz stack does sound nice, Holden, I kind of like where you're heading. Dalton Schultz is 800 less than Kyle Pitts. If I'm going to stack Dak, I would probably prefer Pitts as my run back, or maybe even Cordero. But I'd much rather go with it. Yeah,
I like the Pitts call.
Exactly. I like the Cooper, Lamb, even a Gallup if you really kind of wanted to stretch it. But we already kind of discussed, you even mentioned stacking with Dak is the hard part. Stacking the Cowboys, oh yeah, it's easy. They're going to score 30. It's really hard to pick the correct one. And I think, if you're kind of game stacking that game, Kyle Pitts was shut down by Carolina, but had a few good plays in the first half against New Orleans, kind of settled for a measly 9.2, but the upside's always there. He had 29 and 26 in the 2 games before he dudded without Calvin Ridley. So the upside's there. And that's just me kind of playing devil's advocate as Title put the words in my mouth finally. It took me a little bit, but I think the spend up options are there. But Freiermuth, man, that dude is a stud. Big Ben loves him. They made it a point of emphasis to get him the ball under 4K. I still think you're getting good value. On the primetime slate, he was actually 4,300. And then afterwards, he's 3,900. So I can't believe we even saw a price dip there. Last mention, Tyler Conklin, 7 targets back-to-back games, 3,400. It always makes a little bit of sense. And, it's not really sexy or anything, but, it's serviceable.
Yeah, I think kind of covered because Albert O is not in the conversation. Fant's coming back. So I don't know why we would want to go there. Dan Arnold, man, he is the wide receiver 1 there, Title. I still like us. If I do play a little bit of cash, and it'll probably be Dan Arnold will definitely be right there.
Makes a lot of sense.
He'll be on the cash sheet. There's no question. Sure. We've been hitting him.
The thing to Rubio is I like Pitts, that price tag I love, but we went through running back, we went through receiver.
Yep.
Right now, obviously we don't know. We might have a Tyler Johnson value. We might have Dearness Johnson. But like somehow if the value isn't there, I just like that 2,000 goes so long. I get it, but like that don't keep them low owned. So tournaments, I just even myself in tournaments because I'm going DK, Lockett, Russ. I already talked Devontae. Like I already doing it. I have no option but to save salary at this position.
I'm 100% with you. And like we kind of discussed how roster construction is so important a couple weeks ago when Holden wasn't here, when we were productive. But here,
took him a second.
Yeah, it took him a little bit of a time. But here, we kind of discuss roster construction right now. We're probably spending up at running back. This is early in the week. Things change Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. But we're probably spending up at running back. We're probably spending up a little bit at wide receiver. That kind of leads to 2 spend down somewhere. And that looks like Tyler Johnson and a spend down and maybe Dan Arnold at tight end. And that'll probably be the cash build. You kind of mentioned it, though. If you're playing tournaments, oh, man, you can easily get leverage on the field by playing a high-priced tight end and a good game script like we know with Kyle Pitts, just for an example. So, yeah, it depends on how you want to build. But I know your main team, your cash team is probably going to be a spend down for sure. And that's the logical way.
Yep.
All right, boys. It was wonderful seeing you both. I hope you have a wonderful night and day. RPS Heater 25% off your first payment of a monthly plan. Title knows that well. Rubio, you know that as well, too. Rubio, don't look down. Title, don't look down. And Simon, get us out of here.